Okay, so this is gonna be basically the wrapping signs, well, like the squeegee, right? I'm gonna teach you guys how to use the squeegee. So most of the time when you place a piece, you can either do it with the plastic on or off. I'd actually normally like to work with it off, unless it's a chrome wrap. So you see all these wrinkles here? Basically what you want to do is make sure you glass it. So glassing means you basically trying to get, how can you say, the wrinkles out before you even squeegee. So the squeegee, you only want to use the squeegee after it's nice and glass. If you start doing it right now, you're just going to struggle that much more. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's just going to struggle that much more to finish it when you can finish it in half the time, maybe even 3 or 4 times faster compared to working with it with a whole bunch of wrinkles. So the first things first, what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab 1, 2, 3, 4. You're gonna grab all 4 corners, and you kind of basically stretch them out in a triangle way. So basically, you're gonna pick it up. You're gonna see that's triangle. It's basically I'm putting like this triangle, and that already kind of creates. You see, kind of most of the wrinkles are gone. You do it again from here. You always want to pull in a triangle, all 4 corners. So see, triangle, boom, triangle, and then obviously this is the corner where you started. You're gonna pick it up again, and then same thing, triangle. Now the whole concept of the squeegee, look at that, it's pretty much glass. The whole concept of the squeegee is for you to be able to do it much faster, but you always want to start in the middle. When you start in the middle, it just makes it easier in case something goes wrong. You just pick up one side and then you're done. If you start from one side, you start working towards the other side, then basically you have to pick up all of it to fix whatever goes wrong. So here, I like to start in the middle, right? So you can either start in the middle here, or you can start in the middle there. Personally, I like to break everything down into 4s. So I like to go here, boom. And then obviously this side too. Now you see this wrinkle here? You got 2 choices. Either you could pick it up or you could try to work it out. Obviously, personally for me, if you could just, take it out, it's better. Now this is a dip, right? So the dips, you always want to work them last. Or if you're doing the whole piece, then you're gonna work the middle, then the dip, and then the whole edge. So basically right now, I kind of split it in half. So half up, half down. And when you're wrapping, you always want to overlay your strokes. So this is 1 stroke here, and then you're gonna overstroke it by half. So you're gonna be going over the same section twice, just half at a time. So, this is 1 stroke, that's 1 stroke right there. And then you're gonna do the second stroke, and it's gonna be basically like half. You're just basically overlaying it. Look at that, overlaying it. That way this whole section now is, it's nice and done, boom. And then you're just gonna keep doing that over and over and over, and just keep it nice and consistent. Don't be going everywhere, because if you go everywhere, you're gonna start leaving air trapped in. So look at that, nice, nice. So you always want to overlay. So basically it was right there, boom, right there. Right there, right there. Now if you start seeing wrinkles form like this is where you're going to use the squeegee at an angle, and you're going to try to kind of get it out, boom. So every time there's lines going up and down, you always want to go side to side. Every time there's lines going side to side, you want to go up and down. So look at that. If you go much faster, boom, boom, boom. There you go. That's literally done, basically done. So same thing with the top. Obviously, you know, we did the first bottom half. Now we're gonna do the top. Boom, boom. And then even if you want now, you can even work this in a circle motion. So the whole key is always to keep it nice and consistent. Doesn't matter if you want to do straight lines, doesn't matter if you want to go diagonal or horizontal or at an angle. None of that matters. What matters is that you keep everything nice and consistent. You want to just always overlap. Make sure you're always overlapping. So if I'm going in circles, I'm making sure I overlap too. Look at that. And if you get something like this, just make sure boom, boom, look at that, done. All of it done. So the whole concept is always to keep everything nice and simple. Now, all this would have been probably much harder if I would have just wrapped it with all the wrinkles in the way. Like I said, it's not impossible. It is still possible, but you're just adding extra work that can be avoided. So, like I said, first things first, lay out the whole piece. Then you're gonna hit all 4 corners, boom, 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 and you're gonna start right in the middle. You can either go, line by line, boom, 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 or you can go in circles. It's up to you. You can even do horizontal. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. What matters is that you keep it nice and consistent. The strokes are always nice and consistent. So the first stroke obviously is always gonna be this big one. The second stroke, you're always gonna be doing half. So you're always going to be overlapping it by half, by half, by half, by half, by half. And then obviously, now it's just trimming.